Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about the Nike Vomero Plus, and this is my long-term review. So I've been running in these shoes for a few weeks now, and after putting them through easy runs, tempos, long runs, recovery days, I feel like I got a clear picture on what this shoe can do. Now, if you are new here, the whole goal of this channel is simple: real reviews from real miles. I'm not here to repeat specs from a website or give you a marketing fluff. I'm actually putting these shoes to the test in my own training and then breaking them down, what works, what doesn't, and then sharing the feedback so you can benefit from it. And with that, I think Nike has done something really special with the Vomero Plus. There's been a lot of buzz about this model, and I wanted to see if it really lives up to the hype. Does it belong in my rotation? Can it replace multiple shoes, or is it just another trainer that get lost in the mix? So let's break it down from top to bottom and straight to the point, no mumbo jumbo, so you can see exactly how this should perform after all the miles and testing I've put into it. Now, before anything, I want to give you a context. I am a mid-foot to forefoot runner. I weigh about 155 pounds, and for recovery run, my pace averages from 8 to 9 minute mile pace. Now, with that said, let's start with the upper. First thing that I notice in this shoe is the step-in feel. Every single time I lace this shoe up, it feels so good on my feet. The comfort here is just dialed in. The tongue and the heel collar is padded just right. It has enough cushion to lock me in without any rubbing, no hot spots, no lace pinch, and honestly, I've had issues with some Nike models in the past where the tongue and the collar gave me problem, but here I have zero complaints. The lockdown here is solid, and the lace webbing is holding up pretty well. It's better than I expected, especially after crossing 200-mile mark. You know, sometimes you worry about the eyelets or webbing stretching out over time, but these are holding out strong after all the miles. Now, the mesh has been exceptional. I've had no tears, no issues on durability on the upper. One thing worth noting is that Nike put a rubber overlay on the toe box area, which is really nice touch, especially when it's wet. It's preventing the water from seeping into the mesh, and that gets stuck in there, and it's so hard to clean. And here is an example of the Vaporfly 4, how it gets stuck in the mesh, and even after cleaning, soaping, brushing, and all of that, it's still in there. So Nike, if you are watching, please put this rubber overlay on most of your white shoes, and I'm sure those who love to wear white shoes would appreciate keeping their shoe very clean, especially on wet weather condition. Overall, the upper gives me that balance of plush, comfort, durability, and confidence on foot. All right, now let's move to my favorite part of the Vomero Plus, and that's the midsole. This is where the shoe really shines, and I feel like Nike has tuned down a bit the ZoomX foam on this model, but don't let that fool you. I think after owning several pairs of Nike running shoes from the Alphafly, Vaporfly, Zoomfly, Streakfly, and so on, it still has the DNA of a performance ZoomX. It's got that bounce, it's got that protection underfoot, it's got that smooth propulsion and forward motion, but I feel like it's more stable, it's more controlled, and easier to use as an everyday shoe, especially if you're a mid-foot to forefoot striker. Now, some reviewers complain about stability. Again, this is not a stability shoe. This is not built for that, but it has a very wide platform. And despite the higher stack, I tried to intentionally heel strike on downhills, but I never felt unstable. You know, with the higher stack shoe, it's just common sense, right, to slow down on turns and watch for uneven surfaces, because the risk is there regardless if you are a seasoned runner, but more importantly, if you are new to running, keep that in mind. Now, we are entering winter, and I do encourage safety, but by using lights to prevent injuries, especially when your route is dark and there's a lot of bumps and turns. Anyway, I've measured the contact surface of the Vomero Plus, and for comparison, the widest part on the forefoot is measuring 119 millimeter on the forefoot, and then on the heel it's 100 millimeter. And comparing that to the Brooks Glycerin Max for a size 9, it measures the same with the forefoot and 10 millimeter less on the heel. Now, maybe the stiffer torsional rigidity on the Glycerin Max helps stabilize the shoe, but for me, I think the stability is about the same with both shoes. For me, it's the feeling underfoot that is where the shoe really excels. I think it's more than I expected. For me, it's the perfect max cushion shoe that I look for, and it absorbs shock when you're tired. It rebounds when you want to pick up the pace, and it has enough propulsion to make you feel like the shoe is helping you move forward and not holding you back. You know, what I really appreciate in this shoe is the versatility. At mile 7 to 9 minute mile training pace, the shoe rides comfortably and allows me to hold my pace without my feet feeling heavy or fatigued. But if I flip it and then use it for a recovery run after a brutal workout, it just is just as good. It gives me that comfort I needed to log those extra miles without trashing my body even more, or worse, causing stress injury to my body. In fact, there have been some days when I normally need to take a full day off after a hard session, but with the Vomero Plus, I've been able to sneak in that recovery miles and still feel good. And then for me, that is a game changer. It's not just about performance, it's about keeping me consistent week after week. Now, let me be fully transparent about something I noticed in my testing. After weeks of consistent running in the shoes alone, I did notice when I ran double days, I lost a little bit of that bounce on the second run, and I felt slightly that the shoe is flatter compared to the usual lively feel. But here's the good news: when I gave this shoe a full 24-hour to decompress, the bounce came back. And if you are a heavier runner, or if you plan to stack miles aggressively, just remember that you might experience this. So my suggestion is to give this shoe, the foam, a time to recover, and you should be good to go. Now, the most important part, let's talk about the durability of this shoe. First things first is traction. The outsole has been rock solid on this shoe. I am exactly at 200 miles and the rubber compound is holding up really well. I've taken it through wet pavement, light gravel, grass covered sidewalks, and even some wet downhills, and the traction has never been an issue. That's something I really appreciate, because a lot of daily trainers lose their bite once you start stacking miles. Not with the Vomero Plus. It's giving me that confidence on every surface I've thrown at it. So, to wrap things up, Nike Vomero Plus has earned a permanent spot in my rotation. It's comfortable, it's versatile, it's durable, and to me, it is one of the best releases from Nike this 2025. And right now, it's filling the role as my daily trainer and even a tempo option, which means that the Zoom Fly 6 is finally getting a bit of rest after nearly 300 miles. I also have a good news. Finally, the Vomero Premium has arrived, and it is a shoe that I'm trying to see if it can slot into my recovery shoe, or we'll find out if the Vomero Plus is good enough. But until then, the Vomero Plus is carrying a heavy load in my rotation, and it's doing an amazing job. So if you're looking for a shoe that can do a little bit of everything, easy days, up-tempo recovery without beating you up, honestly, I think the Vomero Plus deserves a serious look. Now, for the bigger picture, why should you care? Well, the Vomero Plus isn't just a shoe, it's a tool to keep you consistent, and consistency is what leads to progress, whether you're a beginner logging your first 5K, or you're an experienced runner running or stacking 50 plus miles a week. If you want a shoe that helps you run more often with less fatigue and still has the versatility to handle different paces, I think this shoe is it. All right, ladies and gents, this is another great shoe from the Swoosh. Happy to say that it gets a high rating, and for me, as far as durability, after 200 miles, it's holding up really well. Comfort is still as comfortable as it is brand new, and for price, I think it's fairly priced considering you have this high stack of Zoom X foam, and lastly, function because of its versatility. Alrighty, thanks for tuning in my long-term review. If this video helped you out, please don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to comment with your thoughts of the Vomero Plus, and subscribe if you want to see a head-to-head comparison with the Vomero Premium, the Pegasus Premium, or the Vomero Plus. All right, guys, see you next time. Take care on your runs. As always, God bless. Be safe. Peace.